all, show them all. Break it down, work it out, show them all, show them all. Switch speed, slow it down. I got something to say. Hey guys, this is Just E, coming to you raw from my new studio, Creature Island Productions. And ironically, you can see it's not finished yet. You know, obviously there's a lot to be done. But it's exciting because it's a whole new chapter. And welcome to Motivational Mondays. It's good to see you. It's been so long. It's been how many years? I don't even know anymore. I can't stop counting. What, like 7? Oh, it's been way too long. Let me give you kisses. Mwah. Okay. So, anyway. Just like back in the day, it's going to be the exact same. My favorite quote. The world is heavy, but your bones, just a cubic inch, can hold 19,000 pounds. Ounce for ounce, they are stronger than steel. Atom for atom, you are more precious than diamonds. Stars have died so that you may live. Remember this the next time you feel weak or worthless. Yes, the world is heavy is still my favorite quote, and I'm still going to do it every Motivational Monday. I'm going to start it off that way. So, the reason why I'm doing this so raw is honestly because it was kind of like a last minute thing. I was supposed to go out tonight. It didn't work. And then I'm excited, you know. I don't even care that this looks like a mess. It is a mess right now. The studio's not finished. The booth is behind me and it's completely bare. The background has not been done at all. I don't have any of my tapestry up or any of my, I don't even need soundproofing, luckily, because of where I'm at. It's perfect. But, like, none of my microphones are connected. Like, and that's my podcast microphone specifically. You know, I don't have anything connected. And I didn't feel like it. I wanted to just go here raw while I was in the mood and while I was confident, because it's been taking me a lot to start these Motivational Mondays, okay? Because I just have been shy and trying to get more comfortable on the camera. But with that said, let's get right into it, okay? Right into it. Here we are. Okay, so today's topic is actually going to be fear. As you know, I still have my handy dandy notebook where I write down all my facts, all my information, all the sites that I got my stuff from. So I will obviously link that in the bottom. I'll put all the links in. And long story short, I wanted to go over fear. I recently posted something, and it was like, fear is an illusion, right? And it was kind of ironic because as I was going through all these emotions of fear, that's what like kind of made me want to start actually diving deeper into fear specifically. The reason why is because I've been experiencing a lot of it lately. For example, just coming here and like getting it done. My fear is that it's just not going to look professional enough, or it's not going to be pretty enough, or I'm not going to get there, or something's not going to get done, or I'm not going to be able to succeed, or something's going to, you know, just this fear. I always have this fear, and it gives me this anxiety, and I don't know why, but it's been hard to control it. So I've been trying to kind of understand what fear is, because for me, at least, the more I understand and I know something, the easier it is for me to have control over it when it's having control over me and my life. Fear really isn't an illusion. It's really something designed to help protect us and keep us safe. So, first I wanted to dive into the exact word fear. Fear. What is fear? An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous or a threat, likely to cause pain. That's pretty much straightforward. I don't think you have to really explain that. It's just an emotion you feel when you feel threatened, or if you feel pain, or if you feel like something's dangerous. So ironically, I thought this was interesting. As I was going through my research, something that really stood out to me that I thought would be very important to like really dive deep in and understand is that you're actually only born with one fear. One fear. They used to think it was 2 fears, but now they're starting to recognize that it's actually only one fear. So you were born with one fear, and it's the fear of loud sounds. Now, I'm gonna read this in like textbook names because I'm really bad with like, terminology and all that. But loud sounds, unexpected noises, or loud noises cause an acoustic startle reflex trigger. Okay, so that's what it is. The acoustic startle reflex trigger. It's something we're born with. It's something that is designed to keep us safe. I think that the reason why it has become part of our DNA is because of the fact that back in the day, there were probably babies that were left unattended when we didn't have houses and buildings to keep us safe and boxes to keep us safe. Boxes to keep us safe. So, in those days, we would have to worry about things like lions and bears.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Tigers and lions and bears. Oh my. Yeah. So so back in the day, you might have had to worry as a mother. You might not think about it. You might leave your baby down, walk away, and then all of a sudden, the baby is listening to these noises in the background, and it's an animal stalking it, ready to go easy prey, baby. Pun intended. That was such an accident. The baby who cried and got loud. So the babies that had the acoustic startle reflex trigger was the ones who would wake up and start whining and crying, and their mother would come to them and they would swoop them up and they would move them on. And in doing so, the animal lost that chance to go get its easy prey. So nowadays, with babies, I think it's naturally in their DNA to get startled and then get loud about it because they are just protecting themselves. What if it is danger? They don't know. They're young, they're innocent, they have absolutely no defense. So, of course, their best defense, sorry, my cats are coming down. Their best defense is being able to cry for themselves when they hear sound. And babies that heard those loud noises ended up I'm sorry. Oh, my head's like la la right now. Dun, dun, dun. So now, very quickly, we developed the fear of falling. And that's simply because we realize heights very quickly. All you need is one tumble, and then you realize, oh my gosh, that was not fun. I don't want to do that again. I hurt myself. And then that pain triggers a memory, which ultimately becomes a fear for a baby until they can actually understand what falling and heights are to a deeper level. Now, this is all under the umbrella term moral reflex. Yes. So this is also known as the startle reflex, and it is designed to help protect a baby from harm. And usually babies, like I said, are born with the loud sounds, and then around 7 to 9 months, they begin to develop the fear of falling because they just have been able to crawl around enough and do enough things to actually experience that. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so then I went into well, obviously, if that is the two fears that you're born with, then I was like, why do we develop all these different fears? Why do we end up in a situation where we have these fears that cause anxiety and stress and all these things that we really don't need to be experiencing? It just doesn't make sense. We fear things that aren't real. So then I asked, why is it that we develop fears that aren't even real sometimes? And they're more psychological in your brain, And I realized it's because fear is important. Yes, fear is important. It is the thing that protects us, and that alerts us to any type of danger. I mean, it's our survival response. It's our survival instincts. It's the thing that alerts our nervous system and connects the mind and the body in the moment and gets a strong physical reaction. You have to think in a moment where something is coming and it's flying at you and you have that response of move out of the way. That's because of fear. Fear is telling you that's going to hurt or could have a potentially negative side effect slamming into your face, probably the cause of pain. So maybe let's move out of the way. And so that physical response of moving out of the way and how quick your brain can do that. I mean,
This off season for your team. How do you feel your chances are in the Air Lease?
I mean, I love our chances. You know, it's been.
Exactly. So you get it. So when you think about it like that, I'm like, okay, so what's chemically like happening inside my body? I just want to know. And it ends up that your brain, all right, so I'm going to write, because once again, I'm not good with terminology and the so I just like to know these things so I can understand the concepts, but I might not remember all the terminologies. So I'm just going to write down my like little cycle. So basically the brain recognizes fear. It alerts the nervous system. Stress hormones are released into the body, and things happen to your body like the blood pressure goes up, your breath increases, your heart rate goes up, and then the blood flow, which I find very interesting, which I really didn't know this one, actually goes away from your heart and to your extremities so that you can get ready to either like fight or flight, run. So that goes into my next preparation is why is fear good? Of course it's good because fear is not a phobia. That's the first thing I found. Like, I thought that was very interesting because, you know, I always found that when people name something in a way that it's negative, it's because it's like negatively impacting your life. So I always looked at as fear as a bad thing, but then I realized that there is like a fine line between fear and phobia. And now I'm going to put that in here. Fear is a natural and biological common reaction that can be used as a superpower, in my opinion. To protect you and keep you safe from pain or danger. I mean, it's so simple that it's like, why have so much fear about fear? Huh. Wow, look at that. An invisible fear that was in my mind that I was able to conquer. And so while I was going through this like just negative place in my mind and I was looking into what this meant, it kind of was like a weight off my shoulders because it was like, okay, I don't have to look at these things like it's negative because it's only negative if it's going to stop me from doing it. It's only negative if it's going to stop me from living my life. If the fear stops me from moving, stops me from recording, you know? And that's when I kind of realized that I'm okay. Like, it's okay to have those fears. I just have to keep moving, keep acting, keep doing it. I'm here right now having this conversation, not knowing where it's going to go, with this unfinished background of my studio, with no quarrels, because all the fears that I have about what could be is not like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It makes sense. It's real, and there's a reason why it's there. And so I can depict those reasons because, you know, there's a lot that comes with putting out videos. It makes you very vulnerable. So, you know, of course my brain's trying to protect myself from that. And so it's like once you start to recognize the concept of fear is an illusion, that's really what they're saying. Not that fear itself is an illusion, but that what fear has manifested itself into is an illusion. Because fear once upon a time ago used to be fight or flight, and that was you running from danger or deciding to stand your ground and try to keep your bearings. Whereas now it has manifested to a text message, to somebody's way they looked at you, to a conversation you had. And we're applying these fight or flight feelings, all these adrenaline rushes and all these things that are happening, we're applying them to the negative things in our life. And now when I say negative, I say this because there are positives. Like, that's the beauty of everything, is there are both sides of it. And the problem, I think, with the internet right now, and that's the biggest reason why I'm going out and doing stuff like this, is because everybody's on these major extremes when it's really kind of like in the middle. And if we could like see the middle more, I think we would be able to just get into better minds and headspaces and do more productive things in our worlds. So with that said, I'm gonna do a little more reading. Trigger, excitation, transfer process. I probably butchered that. Anyway, so this is something I find interesting. It's when fear can turn into arousal. So this is where it's like, see, when we look at fear, we negatively look at it, like we think it's bad. And so the minute we're experiencing it, it turns into anxiety because we're like, oh my God, we shouldn't be experiencing fear. Ah, that means something's wrong, life, death. Ah, but actually, there is a situation where fear can turn into arousal, and it's called the trigger excitation transfer process. I really probably butchered that again, but anyway, you guys can tell me in the comments, I'm sure. So, and a good example of that is the kink community. The kink community who purposely inflicts pain because it actually makes them feel good. And on a more common known level, where it's like less sexual, I guess you could say, is like thrill. When we feel thrill after we go on a roller coaster or watch a scary movie, or we're scared, someone scares us or something like that, that thrill that we feel when we're coming down, that there's dopamine there, and that feels good. You go see a scary movie because you love that feeling when you're like, oh, it scared me. I'm still here, I'm still alive though, and I can now experience that dopamine rush that actually lingers for a very long time after you experience fear. So if you can't get it from like a kinks community perspective, maybe you can get it from that perspective. Now, there are people though who genuinely don't like to experience fear, and they're like, I'm good on the scary movies, and that's cool too. Everybody's different. But I personally am really into fear. I love scary movies. I love roller coasters. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I definitely naturally experience it. And in that case, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm going through some of the things that I'm going through. And so understanding this was just helping me personally. And so I wanted to put it out there because I thought it might help you guys. And that's the whole point of Motivational Mondays. So anyway, that's where I do want to go into the devil's advocate. Because as we just talked about, where fear is very good for us, where it's healthy for us, where we need it to survive, where if we can understand that it's a fight or flight response, we can actually use it in times of need. We could use it in times as a superpower. Sorry. And in the same regards, talking about all the positives, there are negatives. I mean, you have to think, what does fear do? Fear is like it causes stress, well, if you have chronic fear, it's going to cause stress. It's not good for you. I mean, you have to think okay, so I'm going to put this in here because it's a more fancy terminology. Okay, so active amounts of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, high blood, which obviously, like I said, makes that high blood pressure, makes the heart rate go up, makes the breathing go up. That can all cause an array of health issues, which you can literally do one research on any one of those things that I named, and you will see the array of health issues that can be attached to it. I recommend you not, because there's no reason going crazy over that. I think you could go crazy over all the things that it could be, or you could go diving into all the things that you can do to just prevent it, and that's why for me, preventing it was understanding it first. And so now every single time I experience fear, I can maybe sit back and just say to myself, okay, this is fear. Why am I experiencing this fear? Is there an actual fight or flight? No. Okay. Now let's readjust how I look at this. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do for myself, at least. And so hopefully that will help me tackle and start actually moving forward. And I mean, so far it is. I mean, here I am, so it has been helping. And so, So I want to bring this up because I thought this was interesting. I didn't know this. But when you are experiencing fear and you go into that fight or flight, your cerebral cortex actually begins to become impaired. And this can cause somewhat of a brain fog, and it can cause your ability to harness reasoning and judgment. It can slow it down. It can make it not as efficient as always. And in a fight or flight moment, when you need it, that might be a good thing. Because if somebody's swinging at you and you have to swing back, you don't have really time to think about the logical way of doing that. You want to just go straight to defending yourself. But if something's trying to hurt you and you need to run, you don't want to have to really spend time thinking about, what's a logical way to go about this. It's just run. Pay attention to what you're trying not to hit. Whatever. So, however, on a regular day basis, you don't want to operate life like that. Like, you don't want to operate life kind of brain fog. And maybe if you're someone who experiences a lot of fear, maybe this might explain why you experience a lot of brain fog, and why maybe you don't always make like the best judgment calls. I have a song, and in the song, I actually say, I can't trust myself to know the difference. That's basically me saying I can't trust my own judgment. And that's because looking back in the past, I realized that I acted a lot off of fear. I acted a lot very quickly off of fear. Off of, what if I don't succeed? What if I don't do this now? What if I don't invest now? What if I lose my chance? What if I put all my work and I can't do it by myself and I need a team? It's always what ifs and what ifs. And it's at a point where I kind of recognize that it's these fears of what ifs that are making me make these rash, quick decisions without thinking about how to do it right and how to do it in a way that's best for me. And so moving forward, I can now do that because I have broken down what fear is, what it's been over time, what it's become socially into our society today, and how it applies to me directly. So I hope that this helps you a little bit. It helped me a lot understanding this, and even today, I'm gonna go and try to conquer all my fears. So you conquer your fears. Feel good about yourself. Motivational Monday. I hope this episode helped. I hope you learned a little bit about it, and definitely like, share, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I just want to say I am excited for you guys to see the development of the studio. I was so worried about filming before the studio was done, but then I realized I want you guys to come on this journey with me. So stay tuned for that too. I am getting right back into this stuff, and I'm a little new, so love you guys. I'll see you later. Development, woo woo.
You're so close to your turn. Just keep fighting. 'Cause I know life gets hard. Bills and things can break you down. Every day it's like having a new thing shoved in your face. So easy to put your dreams in a box and your mind's addict and find a reason, an excuse to stop believing in magic. But it's all around you if you open your mind.